smack the shit out of this.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Back that ass now. Move it back.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
I do know what song you're talking about, but I have no. I would be making up words. I have no idea what they say.
Swing. Anyways.
Swing, swing from the ting.
No, not that one.
Different song.
Yeah, very different song. Okay, guys. Welcome back to The Secret Life of Swingers. I am one of your hosts, Miss Lola.
I'm Brooke. Thanks for putting up with our chaos.
Yeah. And as you saw from our Instagram, if you follow us on Instagram, we've already recorded this episode once. And for whatever reason, Lola's mic decided not to work. So
Did mine work?
yours worked great.
Huh.
And it didn't, but it wouldn't pick up my sound.
Right.
It was bizarre.
I have no idea. Technology is great when it wants to work.
So, you know, I mean, if anybody wants to like produce us for free right now, great.
We
Otherwise,
need the help.
yeah, eventually we're gonna have to invest in that if we want to
Yeah.
keep going. But for now, you get this, whatever this quality is, and you're gonna love it, okay?
Yeah.
So, today's topic for the second time is
Oh, yeah.
would you, should you tell your friends?
And how?
And how? And why?
Because
And what
we have-
happens when you do?
I think all of us, like, within our, like, very close-knit group of, like, I think a lot of us have told other people, like, vanilla people, and some of them have really funny stories about how they told their friends.
Yeah. Funny stories about how they told them, or, like, what the person said in response, or anything like that. So, I don't know. I guess let's start with, would you?
Yeah, and we have. I mean, early on, it was always a no. Like, it was always like we were just afraid of being shamed for it. We were afraid of like judgment, and you know, we were afraid of like also we were so new to it that it was like, how do we explain?
Yeah,
like like what we're doing and how we're doing it and why we're doing it, especially to people who don't have this experience. And that's like it was a thought process, but you know, as time has moved on and we've gotten more comfortable with where we are and what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's changed.
That's really good. I mean, there's some things that we definitely did not talk about last time that are now like, I'm kind of glad we're redoing it.
Butt plugs?
Well, wrong episode. But no, there's some things that like, so when we got into the lifestyle, yes, we weren't going to tell anybody, but we never thought we would make the friends we made in the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So like in our mind, we couldn't lose our old friends because this wasn't something that we were entering in to make like lifelong friends. Although now looking back, all of our friends are people we've met in the lifestyle. So I think that's one thing that we didn't foresee. And we've talked about that a lot. But when we first started, we're like, no, we're not telling anybody because if we lose our friends, we have no friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you just make new friends in the lifestyle. Because we did tell our friends and they are no longer our friends. And that is totally okay, to be honest. I like my new friends way better.
Yeah, I think you and I had a similar experience in that because a lot of our former friend group was, I never really considered them like my very close friends. They weren't my people. Like they were, you know, the spouses of my husband's friends. And so just by proxy, like I was around them a good deal and we got along. It was fine, but they weren't my people. So when it came out, like when they did find out or when we told everybody, they, all of the women in that group very quickly were like, oh, yep, she's the problem that we knew she was. We cannot talk to her anymore.
She's going to try and hook up with all of our husbands.
Baby girls, your husbands? No, ma'am.
Yeah. I do think that's actually, I think telling in the couple.
I know. It's horrendous.
Whatever. Mask probably doesn't help.
I know, it's really not.
Take it off. I'm just kidding. When telling couples, so guy girl, right? I mean, we're going guy girl, whatever. Couples can be anything.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, but when telling like a married couple that are friends, it definitely goes a lot differently because I think the guy is like, cool, how can we, wow, this is a thing. Like maybe we can do it too. And the girl is like, oh my gosh, like, never. They're gonna corrupt him and blah, blah, blah. And I think it's a totally different reaction that happens because that is what happened with ours is the guys stayed friends. And there are some other things that went along with us telling them. It wasn't just us telling them. There were already some issues within our friend group.
Yeah.
But a big part of it was the guys did stay friends. I did not stay friends with the wives. But even the wives had problems with Gianni hanging out with their husbands because they were like, well, he's going to be bringing other girls around and he's going to tempt our husbands and blah, 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 blah.
Because they don't have self-control. That sounds like an insecure. Sorry. That sounds like an insecurity issue.
Well, yeah. And so that was kind of the mindset there, is the vibes were very much like, oh, you're going to corrupt, which didn't help when one of them did end up cheating on his spouse for real. And I don't know if anybody found out or where that went, because I don't talk to them, but I'm like, wow, that definitely got put blame on us. And it did. It was totally like, oh, well, it's because of Gianni and Bola that he cheated. It's like, oh my God.
No, again, your husband has his own self-control, and if he chooses not to, okay, he has free will, sir, ma'am.
Yeah. So, yes. So we told, I mean, pretty much everybody in our life knows, except for our immediate family, minus my brother. And it doesn't bother me. I mean, clients know, work people know, friends know. If they have a problem with it, that's cool. Go find somebody else. I don't think it's any different than saying,
yeah,
I have this is between me and my spouse. If we enjoy doing this and we're okay with it, why should it affect you?
I'm actually convinced that more people fall within the E&M open relating umbrella than don't.
Yeah.
Because of how many people that I knew even prior to getting into it that I have discovered since they've been involved in it for 10, 15 years.
Yeah. Or at some point, or dabbled in it at some point. Right?
Yeah.
And yes, we know the lighting's going to suck on this, guys. We're still working on shit. I can already see it just like going in and out. So shut up.
It's fine. He's fine. Yeah, I mean, like several people that I work very closely with, like my office is an office of, 25 to 30, like on any given day. And I know of at least 3 others in the office that are like very openly like a part of the LS in some form or fashion. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, that's like, I didn't know that. But also these were the people that I got along with the most.
Yeah.
But there is one in my office who I would have sworn, and you've met him. And this is one of those people who's like, he is just the most flirtatious energy. And like, he's a close talker. And he, actually, we didn't talk about this in the other episode or in the first recording, but like, he'll do things like, and it's always been very platonic. I need that to be out there. But he'll do things like if he sits down next to me in a restaurant, he grabs my chair and pulls it so our chairs are touching, kind of like he's that kind of flirtatious. And it took me probably a year before I like of all of this kind of, and he would make crude jokes at me and like all of these things. And it took me about a year before I finally was like, okay, are you and your wife LS? Because this is like, it seems very obvious.
Like it,
and he went, what's that? And I was going,
oops, no.
Okay. Well, that raises other questions, or other questions arise because of that. I was like, all right, cool.
But there are some people that, because actually, I know somebody that I know for sure is not lifestyle, and people have said like, there's absolutely no way him and his wife ever would be, blah blah blah. And he has those same mannerisms, and it's not free. It's just his personality.
Yeah,
he's just a friendly, overly friendly person. It's not just with me. It's with guys. They kind of do that same friendliness. But I've never had a work or friends. We've told, honestly, most people now don't care, but again, our old friends did. I think the other misconception when we tell people that aren't lifestyle is that we automatically want to like convert them or sleep with them. And I know we talked about this in the last one of like, when Gianni and I first got into it, we did have a very brief conversation of like, would you like, is there anybody in our current friend group that you would? And both of us were just like, no, like I am not attracted to any of our vanilla guy friends at all. And I think there was like maybe 1 or 2 girls who was like, maybe. And I was like, really? She was like, not really, but maybe.
If
like,
I had
to choose one, it would be this.
Gun to head if I had to choose one. Yeah.
I mean.
No, we were the same way because like, but I also, and I mean, again, we had that conversation when we first started in the LS, like what, 6, 7 years ago at this point. And at that point, it was like, absolutely not. Like, they're all trolls. Sorry, no offense. It is what it is. They are obviously attractive to some people because they are all married. So,
or just at least once were, maybe.
Yeah,
are not anymore.
Not attractive to me, and that's okay. I'm also not attracted to that many people. Anyway, but I think like over time, I think I've kind of in my head, I think it's just a normal, natural kind of almost barrier, like blockade for me that if I know that you are monogamous, if I know that you do not have any relationship to the LS or non-monogamy or open relating at all, like there is a block in my brain that prevents me from even looking at you like that. And Declan and I have talked about this, that like if somebody were, because we've had friends who've like kind of asked questions, and if they start off with that, like behind that block, behind that brick wall for me, they don't get to come in front of it.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't, I can't get attracted to them.
Same. Yeah. If we had any of our vanilla friends say, hey, you know what, we want to try lifestyle, I'd be like, great, it's not going to be with us.
Yeah. Find somebody else.
It's good. Well, that actually isn't true.
You just thought of somebody.
Yeah.
That you wish. Oh.
No, that has happened.
Oh.
It was a drunken night, you know?
Do I know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
But I don't think we would do it again, because it does get kind of complicated and sticky, and so yeah, if we had knew a couple, I'd be very, very wary of. Again, we've talked about the whole newbie situation. I've shared some of the horror stories we had, and just kind of want to avoid those. So if we had friends, I'd be like, great, I will introduce you to all of our friends. You can come to the club with us. Like, I'll teach you all the apps, like all that stuff. Happy to be your quote unquote mentor
in the
lifestyle, but we're not going to be the first ones you play with, because we don't want that to ever, if we are truly friends with them, which again, we don't have any friends outside lifestyle. If like we are truly going to be the first ones, I don't want that to go south and then lose a friendship over it.
Right.
So I think people need to kind of recognize that as, you might be like, well, they're our best friends, that's the perfect person to try it with. It's like, you never know how somebody's going to react the first time. And if they do all of a sudden blow up because of it, you're definitely, you're not recovering from it.
Yeah. No,
I mean, it could be great, but chances are there's going to be some.
It's just a boundary, man, that I don't know that I ever really want to like consciously. And I do know what I think I know what you're talking about. And I was a party to getting you drunk that night, and so was my mother-in-law.
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
We can blame my mother-in-law for that one.
Yeah, that is very true. But yeah. I don't know. So we've had I guess when we told our friends, well, and that was the other thing. So when we got into it, we were like, no, we're not going to tell people, at least not right away. And for that brief time, because it didn't take long before we were like, guess what? I have a secret, right? But for that brief time, it is actually really fun to kind of have that secrecy of like, hey, we're hanging out with you guys for drinks, but we know after this we have a hot date with like another couple. Like there was something just like, or like, hey, we did this last week. Like in our heads, we're going, ooh, we're so like cool, whatever. And they have no idea. And there is something really fun, and like just between Gianni and I to have that was really fun. How do you feel about that? Did you have that as well? Or were you just kind of like, nah?
Yeah, I think for the most part, like there just came a time where I was, and I think by and large, like my self-confidence after entering into the lifestyle and E&M, like my self-confidence like grew. And so there came a point where I was like, this is not, I can see why people think that it's taboo still, but also for me, it's not. For me, this is like a very normal, natural way to relate to people. And why am I ashamed of this?
Right.
So yeah, at a certain point, it was just like, okay, I don't care.
Yeah.
I no longer care.
Yeah.
If you find out about it, you do. There was one couple, I actually talked to her like as I was driving up to your house today. She called. I had kind of been against telling them just because they are some of our like, I don't know if she listens to this. She knows about the podcast. But
is she someone who was going to be on the podcast?
Yes. Okay. And she still might be, because I asked her about it. She was like, yeah, I still want to do that. So she may be one of our vanilla shakes here soon. Just getting like scheduling, lining up is hard. But yeah, I was kind of against telling them for a while because they're a little bit more traditional, and you
just don't know how people are going to react. And like you said, you can easily lose a friendship over it. So if they're a really close friend, I feel like the closer the friend, the harder it is to tell.
Yeah.
Which is strange, because you'd think it'd be easier to tell, but you're more afraid of losing them. So.
And they're like, their kids are the same age as our kids, and like my daughter and her son have been, I mean, they're like 8, but they've been quote unquote dating for 5 years. And so it was like one of those things that was like, I don't want this part of our lives to affect this relationship. And Declan at one point, like we were all hanging out over at their house while the kids swam, and they have this habit of like pouring fireball shots. Like that's what they do, like every like 30 minutes or so, and they're like the halvesies shots, right? They're the little ones, but still, like it'll be like every 30, 45 minutes they walk around and pour. So, if you hang out there long enough at their house, you get kind of drunk. And at some point Declan was like, I don't remember what he said, but he said something about the LS and then just continued to like word vomit.
Like forgetting who he was talking
Yes,
to type
and
of
I was
thing.
sitting there going, what the fuck? And I'm looking at them and they're both like mouths open and they were like, we figured. We knew it. We knew something was weird with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Is there anybody though that you like do not want to tell or find out friends wise? Like I know we've talked about family, so obviously I don't want Gianni's family to find out.
Yeah.
Don't really care about mine, but is there anybody friend wise?
No, I wouldn't say so. I've even got colleagues and people that I work with.
Yeah, I mean I have clients in the lifestyle.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I think it really is more of a, at this point, the ones that I don't necessarily want to find out is because I'm afraid that they're going to react in the opposite way, that they're going to be like,
ah,
oh, this is an invitation,
yeah,
when it's not.
that makes sense.
Like, I had, actually, I'm not sure that Declan even knows this. I had an ex-boyfriend reached out to me recently, and apparently him and his wife were going through like a divorce or something, and I was like, okay, like that's cool. Sorry, dude. Are you cool? And he was like, yeah, see, this is why like I should have just like been dating a whole bunch of people, and I was like all at the same. I was like, that's like morally not okay, but you do you, and I hope everything works out for y'all. And but I was also drinking wine and I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, you like now that you're single, you should be going to dating people. Like date a whole bunch. Like date like it's fine. Just tell everybody anytime that you date somebody, just tell them that you're dating multiple.
Yeah.
Be upfront and
Yeah,
honest about
of
it.
course.
Don't be shitty about it. And he was like, you sound like you've got experience. I was like, I do. But and he was like, okay, great. You want to go out? And I was like, absolutely the fuck
No.
not. I do not.
No.
But
There's a reason we
like
broke up, first of all.
you can't, yeah. God, how many years I was no, this was I was 16, so yeah,
Oh damn.
20 years ago. Yeah, so I was like I'll give you advice on like how to, because he was asking for like advice on dating because he's been married longer than I have, and I was like, I'm not the one to ask.
Yeah.
Like my advice is gonna come very skewed.
Yeah.
But that one did turn, like the conversation did turn just a little bit, and I was like, no, like no, this is not how this goes. So it's the only ones that I hesitate to tell are the ones that I'm like, are they going to see this as a
and that's fair because there are people, both you and I know, there's people that we have told or have found out, and they just think that when they're around, they can be flirty and they can do. And it's like, no, that you can't put your arm around me and you can't put your hand on my leg. Like that's not.
Yeah,
we're not doing this.
Consent is.
Yeah, you're married and y'all are not lifestyle. This is not how this works. But it's a common thing for people just to assume it's open game.
Yep.
Whatever. Now, I know we're talking about telling friends, but something monumental did happen over the weekend.
Oh, yes. My mother now knows.
Yeah. So tell us about it. What happened? And yeah, how did she find out? Wine. Wine seems to be a common. If you don't want people to know you're in the lifestyle, just
don't
stop
drink
drinking.
Wine. Yeah, don't drink.
Specifically wine. Or Fireball.
Fireball. No, yeah, we were in Fredericksburg drinking like all the wine. We were at our third winery of the day. Well, third place. We'd gone to a winery and then Brooks Bubble Bar.
Like, yeah, I want to go there so bad.
I love Brooks Bubble Bar. It's so cute. It's all pink. Like shameless plug for Brooke. Like yay Brooke. And then we went over to our favorite winery, or my favorite, I guess. But we were sitting there talking, plenty of wine, and at some point my mom said something about I don't remember how it brought up, but she said something about like people cheating, and I was like, oh well, that doesn't apply to us. And she was like, well, I'm glad because you guys never cheated. And I was like, no, you're right. It does, but it also doesn't apply to us because we're also non-monogamous, Mom.
I bet you can still cheat, but yes, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Not in the context that she was,
right.
You know,
right.
And she was like, she kind of cocked her head. She was like, yeah, I kind of figured. She was like, are you doing the swinging thing? And I was like, not in the context of what you think. Like, it's for me. I was like, and I did explain this to her. I was like, I'm happy to talk about this. I have no problem. I was like, yes, like I know people who it is about the sex and they like that, and that's like, and that's fun, and that's how they relate to people. It was like, for me, it's more of like the meaningful relationships. And she was like, okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah,
right. Put my penis back in place. Yeah. Okay, if you're not watching the video part of this, then that's not going to make sense. But I
Yeah,
have
and
like
it's gonna be really weird because we definitely clipped a piece out of this.
I have like Penelope in my plushy penis.
You have your penis.
I feel like it needs a girl's name.
Penelope the penis. I like it.
Penelope the penis.
Phoebe.
Phoebe.
Anyways, back to the topic of discussion. Okay, so you told your mom, but it was kind of because she brought something up and a comment came out that made her question it.
Yeah.
But we've heard of other very interesting ways of people telling their friends.
Yeah, the PowerPoint's my favorite.
Yes, I'll let you talk about that because that's just hysterical. I mean, all the friends we just told.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's been any other differences, but we do have one set of friends, John and Nadia.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, when people pick fake names because that's not their names, and they're people that we know, like normal names, I'm just like, this just is weird saying their name because I'm like, they're not, but they're.
I love it. I love it. It's so much fun.
But yeah, so John and Nadia is what we're calling them.
Yes. Yeah, and it was. This is not my story. I wish they were here.
Yeah.
But they were at I think it was some sort of like wine night.
PowerPoint
night, yeah, where everybody was supposed to like make a PowerPoint and do like a little presentation on just something about themselves or something silly, you know. And John, Nadia, if I got that wrong, I apologize. But they did their PowerPoint on like being singers and being funfetti and like what it is and why they were involved in it and like how I think it was like even as far as like how they got involved in it. And their friends were like, from what I understand, were like, one, thought it was hilarious, and two, were like incredibly supportive about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for them, it went, I don't think they would have done that if they didn't think that their friends weren't going to be supportive. So.
Yeah. But that's got to be the most clever way I've heard of anybody telling their friends is through a PowerPoint presentation. So if you have one better or you've heard of one better, please comment or DM us because I don't think anything takes the cake on that.
I wonder if we could get them to send us the PowerPoint. It has to still exist.
Oh, I'm sure. It's John. It's gonna exist somewhere.
He probably has it like multiple copies of it, every draft.
Backed up and everything. Yep. But yeah, I thought that was cute. And then the other, like, so telling your friends and let's just say they're like, yep, that's never going to be us, but we support you. We're going to stay vanilla. Y'all do lifestyle. We can still be friends, all that great stuff. But they go, I'm interested just to see like what a club is like or what the app is like. Like, would you bring them along to the club?
Yeah. I mean, well, Daddy brought his sister along to the club that one time. So, I mean, like,
yes,
it wouldn't be out of the realm of like
something we would do.
Yeah, he needs to be back on to talk about that, even for a side piece, because that was. Sure. I wish that I had been there for that.
I don't know if he even remembers it.
Okay, maybe that's
that
fair.
Whole
We need to have.
Night was a.
We need to have him and Julia on because she told me the story like in depth. Yeah, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, because I think that especially if you go to the club with a group of people, like if you go by yourself, you've never been before, yes, it can be very daunting. And it's this like kind of almost out of body experience because most people don't go to places where you walk in and there's like thongs and tassels and pasties and that's what people are wearing. And that's not a normal lived experience, That is, it is a little jarring the first time that you go. So it does feel better to go with friends. So if it is one of those things that it's like, okay, well, I'm curious. I would like to go experience this, at least even from like a voyeur perspective. Yeah. Go with friends.
Yeah. Like I'm totally, if anybody ever wants to come and they're uncomfortable and they just want like a group to go with, like by all means, happy for you to join. And we've had that even, especially at, well, it's happened multiple times. I don't, I'll have to see what their names want to be. But we have some friends that are very social and they know everybody. Yeah. I think you know who they are. Yep. Okay. That's enough to know. And they've brought, just straight vanilla couples to the club before and they've had a great time and just been like, oh my God, I remember once, she had brought one of her friends and I don't know if it was her fiance or boyfriend to Colette. And I had gone back and played with one of my regulars. As I do. And
you have regulars. One of my regulars.
2 regulars. Okay. Anyways, so we had gone back and played and we were in the group room. And so I hear like a knock on the window, but you can't see out the window. And so I was just like, I kind of assumed it was her. I don't know why, but I did. And so we leave shortly after that. We were almost done. So we leave and I go up to her and she was like, did you hear the knock? And I was like, I did hear the knock. I was like, I assumed that was you. And the friend standing next to her, the vanilla girl, was like, talking and she was like, wait a second, that wasn't your husband? I was like,
Oh,
no, my husband's over there actually. And so it's just really funny to see like the eyes, just like deer eyes. But she was so just like open to just seeing what it was and dancing and having fun. And like I was going to say before that is we went to Rain for the grand opening and we had Brad and Val on talk about, it's not about coming here for a sex club. It's here to experience being around people who are a little bit more open and whatever. And I will say, I know at least 3 couples that were there that were not quote unquote lifestyle.
Yeah.
And again, we're kind of trying to take out the terminology of it all, but there were 3 couples who had, they were not considered lifestyle. They were just there to experience it, there with friends.
Yeah.
And they all said they had a great time and would totally go back and do it again. And
good.
Yeah. But I guess I've never really thought of, I always say people can come with me, and I've invited vanilla people like, yeah, if you want to come experience, come on. But I guess I never really like considered, oh, they're going to be seeing me in like literally no clothes.
Yes.
Like, or fucking somebody that's not Gianni.
Yeah.
And I've never thought about the aftermath of that.
Yeah. I do think that is something that has like changed in my brain as well. Like once upon a time for years and years and years, because society implants this into your brain that like sex is something that happens behind closed doors. There's no witnesses to it. Like it's between you and one other person. And it didn't take me long. Like I'm already comfortable in my body, like already. And then like enter the LS and it was like, oh, okay. No, this isn't weird.
It took me a while. I would say just in the last like 9 months is when I've really been like, I don't give a fuck. Like, but I think it took me until about 9 months ago and even maybe even less than that, I like, I don't mind people watching. I don't mind people seeing me. I will literally, there are times where I'm like, oh yeah, I can't take off my top right here. Like we're in public. Like, I honestly actually,
that too. Like, what do you mean I can't get naked?
I wore my first thong swimsuit in public this summer, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
My first one. I've never done that because I always thought that was, I don't know, just uncomfortable. And now I'm like, fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah, I do have thong swimsuits, but like I've always been very careful about where I wear them. And I think this is going to be pretty much the first summer that I'm like, you know what? I really don't give a flying fuck.
Yeah. And that's what I was going over to one of our friends' house, and they have a couple kids. We have kids, and there was another family with kids, lifestyle as well. And I had texted her and I was like, are we doing mom swimsuits or what?
Yeah.
And we were already in the car on the way, and it was a fine swimsuit. It wasn't anything like mom, or it was kind of in between. And she goes, oh no, I'm wearing a thong. You have to wear a thong too. I want my kids to be okay with this. And I was like, good, cool. Perfect. Give me a swimsuit when we get there. And we did. And I was like, yeah, why are we hiding this?
My kids think it's so funny. Yeah. Like I've got a new one recently and I was like trying it on to make sure it fit. And my one daughter was like, Mom, I can see your butt. And I was like, yeah, and you've got a butt too.
Yeah.
I can see yours all the time because you never wear clothes.
I was going to say, my kids like literally jump in the shower with me and I'm like, what am I hiding anymore?
Yeah, nothing.
Like what? But yeah, we have a family vacation coming up at for a week, beach and pool, and I was gonna pack all mom suits, and I was like, I'm not gonna do thongs.
Oh,
I will not do
thongs.
I know. I was like, I will refrain from the thongs in front of my brother and parents, but I am doing all string bikinis and like not doing the. I don't want the tan lines.
I did send my mom a picture of my newest one. I was like, look at my thong, look at my butt, it looks good. My mom was like, why do I have a picture of your butt on my phone now? Like, because I'm proud of the way that I look right now, okay?
You took a lot of them when we were little, so
yeah.
You should be used to this.
Yeah, I've been working really hard, all right? I'm proud of the way that I look. Fuck off, Mom. Yeah. Appreciate it, okay?
All right, we totally got sidetracked. And we're at 30 minutes, but... It all kind of relates, I guess. Somehow we got here. But yeah, I guess the ultimate thing is, should you tell your friends and the aftermath? And I think it really, it depends on you. Everything depends on you. Everything we talk about is complete 100% opinion of how we feel. But I think just being aware of some of the things that could happen. So again, they could think this is an invitation. So be careful and be very open if you're telling them, if that's not what you want them to perceive it as. Make sure they know that. It could be that they totally judge and run away, and you got to be okay with that as well. You got to kind of respect that. So I think just being open to, if you're going to tell, it could go a lot of different ways, and you just have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
But
good luck.
Let us know the best creative way to tell your friends if you've done it, or let us know if you're like, hell no, I would never tell anybody. This is totally a secret, and I do not want anybody to find out. Let us know that too.
Yep.
But keep listening, keep sharing. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.